Let's review the results of a poll that I put out on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. So I asked you all if during a store or site visit, have you ever had an employee who was not previously under investigation do any of the following? 77% of the people who responded to this poll said all of the above. How often do we go into a location for a specific investigation and the people at that store have information that we are not aware of? So they think we're there for them, or they think we're there looking into something that they've done or been affiliated with, when really we're there for something entirely different. So they get spooked and they leave, or they just end up talking to you and they end up admitting to something that you didn't have any idea was actually going on. The overwhelming majority of you said that this has happened, and this has happened in a lot of different ways. One way to get ahead of this is to get more information from our employees before we get on site to figure out what exactly is the full extent of what's going on at this store, at this office, at this distribution center, before we step foot at that location and start having actual face-to-face conversations. So I pulled this from a recent investigation that was completed by a current client of ours. They had 90 employees at this one location who responded to the questionnaires. They had 31 employees, 31 separate employees that completed these questionnaires that provided information that they have knowledge of other employees who are currently involved in some type of counterproductive or criminal behavior in the workplace. So that number is 31 employees. This number, 16 different employees have knowledge of other employees doing something they shouldn't be doing, and they also acknowledge that they have been involved in doing something that they shouldn't have done. That can be something as benign as a policy infraction, all the way up to something a little bit more egregious. I also highlighted this one because this is 20 employees of the 90. 20 employees at this specific location said, yes, I would like to have a conversation with an investigator. I have information that may be beneficial to the current investigation that's being conducted at this site. So the investigator is able to follow up with them individually and figure out what's going on to corroborate that information. If 77% of people who responded to this poll are saying that they've gone into a location and have left with information because either someone has quit when they got there, or they quit after the investigator left, or during a conversation, the employee ended up providing information that the investigator had no knowledge of previous. If this is happening that often, then what can we do to position ourselves so that we go in better informed and better educated before we sit down and we start having those face-to-face conversations? This resource is as good as I have ever seen to be able to do that, to equip the investigators with the maximum amount of intel and information so that we can make more informed strategic decisions as to how these conversations and the investigation really is going to proceed.